So we first did this dance to make sure that it was a balanced relationship. And they didn't ask much from me, and I didn't ask much from them. The very first thing I did was say, just be present in the school. I need men visible for some of my students who don't have any fathers in their lives or men in their lives. And for the first year or two, we had 10 to 15 men who would show up during lunch, and I said, dress like you would dress for work. Some of our students have never seen a man go out to work on a regular basis. And I said, make friends, sit down with folks. I said, if you notice children not eating or looking hungry, let me know, but really just be a presence. And they did. And that was sort of the beginning seed to the relationship we have now that is so intertwined that I don't think our school could exist without Doug and his crew and his vision, and I hope he feels a little bit the same way about us.
There are other people who come from, for instance, well-to-do homes. Mm-hmm. Do they have any needs that your type of leadership addresses?
They have tremendous needs, like you did at 14, 15, and 16 years old, and like I did as well.
Oh, yeah.
And the good news is we have a strong group of moms in touch who pray for our school regularly. We have a well-attended FCA that meets every Wednesday morning in our gym that's led by our student leaders. We have opportunities for those. We have Young Life and all kinds of organizations that live on the periphery of our campus, but those who are Christian and those who are just adolescents who need help and understanding and an ear, we have opportunity for them as well.
All right. I would like you to tell these people, many of whom are directors of their organizations, and organizations of many different types, not all faith-based. Mm-hmm. Can you give us and them some guiding principles that you have found to be absolutely indispensable in finding the joy that you have found in creating a community like you have built? And really, is it worth all that work?
Well, as I shared earlier, our campus is very complex. And when I first got to Millbrook many years ago, I thought I could do this alone. Thought I could lead the school and change the school and transform our mission, and learned very quickly that I need everyone in this group. I am part of Communities and School Board, Wake Ed Partnership, the new Health and Human Services Community Advisory Council, and through those connections, I have discovered what others bring to the table and how they also support our families and our students. And I'm able to bring that back to support our students beyond the school day.
Can I say how absolutely critical that is? She just buzzed right through that. But this is a very busy person. I know she works more hours than I do in a very hard job. And yet she takes time out of that job to go and sit on what could be seen as a boring thing where we're sitting and learning about stuff. We wonder where the connection is. But leaders who are truly community leaders and want to be transformational leaders have to pay the relational and informational price to say, aha, oh, that would be so good if we could make that happen. Let's work to make that happen. And she's paying that price. And as a result, some things are happening in her community. She's finding other people who want to help, and it would have never happened if she didn't pay the price upstream for months sometimes.
What's he talking about?
Well, he taught me this. He taught me that I can't just hunker down in my school with my blinders on with the mission of improving teaching and learning and instruction for our kids. Doug helped.
I'm still snickering that you thought you could go in there and do all that by yourself. Because here's what I tell.
Well, but you do these jobs by yourself.
Yeah, but here's what I tell you.
I
have a product that I sell to. I make and sell to preschool through 8th grade. And here's what I tell administrators when they call me up. I don't care who you think you are. The teachers in the classrooms decide what's going to go on. And every one of them goes, yeah.
Yeah, and the front desk lady decides who gets to talk to whom.
Yes.
So let's not count her out as well. But Doug and Crossroads has helped me. They started bringing me in early on. I've been to service here. I know a lot of their congregation because they cross over into our school. But Doug has stressed constantly that it's about our zip code and not about our own individual entities. It would be very easy for him to stay here and be pastor here and nurture his flock, and for me to stay at Millbrook and to work there and work with my community and for all the other groups. But we're much more powerful together.
Zip code means you're working together in the same area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, with all kinds of entities. One example of a partnership that I find quite bizarre but awesome is my football team comes over here every Friday night in the fall. I put them on a bus. They drive over here. They have Vespers, they do devotions, they have dinner, they get ready for their pre-game. I would like to know how many churches and public high schools have that kind of a relationship where they're not going around handing my students tracts or proselytizing to them. They're just loving on them, supporting them, and this guy's on the sideline periodically.
What's wrong with loving people?
Well, that's what we should do. This is just a clear example that it's being done here, which is why I think, God smiles on us and gives us favor, because things are happening here in this church, in our school, in these other organizations that are here this evening, so that we can network and find each other and be able to exchange our energy and our interests for the good of the community.
And I would say this, from a faith-based organization like a church, we've had a big learning curve as well. We've gone outside the boundaries and had our knuckles slapped, rightfully so. And we said, oh, we didn't mean to do that, we're sorry. And they forgave us, and we came back and trained better, and we stopped doing that. And so we have learned there's an educational mission there, and that's what we go to help. Our mission's over here. And so, we've been able to do other things. We've made mistakes, but they've been honest mistakes. And we have learned how to be a good neighbor. And we have found more in common than difference. We're more alike than different. And we have some of the same needs and assets that can be multiplied by cooperative effort.
Okay, and Dana, have you had to learn, as a building administrator, have you had to learn, and have you made some mistakes that you've been able to overcome in order to take advantage of the people who sincerely just wanted to help?
Of course, and I encourage everyone who's here this evening and all the leaders in your organizations, you've just got to be bold. You've got to be brave. You've got to not fear the wrist slapping. I have, but as Doug said, it's all been because we've been trying to do what's right in the best way we know how, and we're going to make mistakes. But at the end, the synergy of the group provides a much bigger plus than our individualities. And oh yes, I've done almost everything wrong once, and then I learn.
All right. Well, this has been a great conversation, and when you interview a principal,
Principal of the year.
a principal of the year, you're talking about somebody who has to coordinate so many variables and so many people variables. And even though I started out on a negative tone, trying to draw some things out of her, you can see where this has gone. And I think you probably have been changed by this.
Profoundly. It's part of the reason why I've stayed at Millbrook so long, because I do see my community. I see them in everywhere that I go. It would not have been hard to leave a school. It would be hard to leave my community. And the relationships I've been able to create, and the understandings I've been given, and just the peace that comes with knowing or believing that we're following the Lord's will really has made this an amazing journey.
So in the end, it's not about you. Is that okay? You started out saying it was about you.
Oh, wait, if I said that, I was sorely off the rails.
Well, you said that you started out saying that you thought you could handle this whole thing.
Well, yes.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah,
We've grown, we've changed, we've been transformed.
We absolutely, because of the partnerships that have happened in our area. Yeah, it's not about me.